counsel did have been largely redacted, and we need to know that information. So we will be seeking the complete and unredacted report, again, so that we can do our proper oversight. One other matter that is very important to point out, and that is that, as the special counsel makes clear in the report, the counterintelligence findings are not completely included in this report. That in fact there were FBI agents embedded in the special counsel's team who were looking at the issue of compromise or counterintelligence, and that some of that information is not included. Others, of course, it may be included but redacted. Our committee, the Intelligence Committee, has requested that Mueller come and testify. We want to understand exactly what was found in terms of any counterintelligence efforts, any efforts by the Russians to make use of U.S. persons, particularly those affiliated with the Trump campaign, as witting or unwitting agents of the Russian government.
Chairman, the president tweeted out "game over." Is it game over? And has your opinion about articles changed at all as a result of what you read today?
Well, it's certainly not game over in the sense that there's a lot more that we need to know that's redacted in this report. And again, this report only goes to what is criminal or not criminal. Other actions that may have compromised the president or others around him may or may not be even included in the report. In the interest of making sure that our policy is driven by the best interests of the country and not by the personal or financial interests of the president or anyone around him, we need to find out the answers to that. But we will certainly be guided by the good investigative work that the special counsel has done. It is not our intention to redo all the painstaking work the special counsel has conducted. Indeed, it wouldn't be possible for us to do so. The special counsel had at his access a bevy of FBI agents, subpoenas, grand juries, etc., that we do not have advantage of. This is one of the reasons why it's so important for the Congress to be able to obtain this information, so we do not have to recreate the wheel. But it is important to note that the facts that are now established by this report are damning. Whether they could or should have resulted in the indictment of the president or people around him, they are damning. And we should call for better from our elected officials. The standard cannot simply be that you can do anything you like as long as you can declare at the end of the day, I am not a crook. That is not the ethical standard the American people expect in their president.
Congressman Kellyanne Conway again called for you to step down as chairman. She said he should produce the evidence he says he has. What do you say to that?
Well, Kellyanne Conway clearly hasn't read the report, because if she had, she would see that all the facts that I've been alluded to are not only spelled out, but they're spelled out in far greater detail than I have. But look, this is coming from someone who invented alternate facts, and apparently she is continuing to cling to her alternate facts.
Has Robert Mueller responded to your invitation to testify, and do you believe that the Attorney General should resign?
We've made two requests of the special counsel. First, we made the request for the counterintelligence findings and the underlying evidence. And it's very important to understand that the Justice Department has a statutory obligation to provide us with counterintelligence or foreign intelligence. And so they're required to provide that. Now, some of that is documentary evidence, but we have also asked for his physical testimony. We have not received a response to that yet, but the Attorney General did say during his press conference today that he would not oppose that, and we will fully expect them to comply with both of those requests.
And Barr resigning, is that?
In terms of Barr, look, I think he's done a deep disservice to the country, and frankly, he should have never been confirmed without committing to recusing himself from this entire investigation. As we all know, he applied for the job by writing a 19-page legal memo setting out why he thought an obstruction case against the president would not lie, that it was a bogus theory. And he made good on that job application in what he did today and what he's done thus far. So I think it was a grave error by the Senate to confirm him without requiring his recusal. In terms of beyond that, I don't want to comment.
And how would you describe your thoughts on the fact that the president did not sit for an interview now that you've read the report? Is that a disservice as well, and where do you stand on that?
Well, it's certainly a disservice to the country and to getting to the bottom of the facts that the president was unwilling to do what he said he would. Not the first time the president has reneged on a commitment. It is one thing to ask for written answers to questions. You then get the lawyer's answers. You get Rudy Giuliani's answers or Jay Sekulo's answers. You don't get the president's answers. When you have the opportunity to interview someone in person, you have the opportunity to do follow-up questions and get to the truth. That was not allowed to happen. As I suspected, and I said while this was going on, I thought it was a mistake not to subpoena the president. But as I expected, the special counsel did set out his considerations, and I think foremost among them was the president would fight it, he would have to litigate it, and that would lengthen his investigation. But I think it means the American people were deprived of important information.
Forgive me, I got here a little bit late. If you've already asked this question, I understand. But if not, does what you saw today in this report rise to the level where impeachment should be considered?
We need to look at the full report. Certainly what Bob Mueller has revealed on the obstruction of justice issue is the most concerning, because that, of course, involves the president's own conduct, his own falsehoods to the American people, his efforts to get other people to tell lies, his effort to deter people from cooperating with the investigation, his effort to reward those who stuck to the party line, all of which, of course, Bill Barr conveniently ignored in his press conference today. All of that is damning conduct by the President of the United States. And I think we need some time to let this sink in and understand the full repercussions for the country of having a president who lies to the country, who misleads the country, who urges others to do so, and frequently on a daily basis, but most significantly when it concerns an investigation into Russian interference in our election. This was an attack on American sovereignty. This was an attack on American democracy, and that a president would not only not cooperate with it, but would tell repeated falsehoods, and would not sit down and allow the special counsel to ask questions, would in Helsinki take the Vladimir Putin's word over his own intelligence agencies. All of that needs to be considered by the Congress and the country in terms of what it means about the President of the United States. Thank you.
Adam, can I ask you a quick question? Adam, can I ask you a quick question?
So sorry, don't get time for it. We just had the meeting. Would you take time for a question?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all your flexibility today.